Quiet, please. This is picture and roll, please. We are rolling.
Henry Fonda was 75 when he played Josh Turner in Summer Solstice. The film, shot on Cape Cod in Massachusetts, would be Fonda's last. At the time these scenes were taken, Fonda's health was already weakened by chronic heart disease. Still, both he and his co-star, Myrna Loy, brought to their roles the skill and attention to detail of veteran actors.
You forget, Mr. Turner. You had time off for good behavior. Well, strike that last, for behavior, whenever you were so moved.
Well, we'll seal together. That's what matters.
Henry Fonda began acting here on Cape Cod in 1925. So in a sense, this last film brought his career full circle.
More beautiful than ever.
Wrinkles.
It took me a long time to give you those. Let me enjoy them. I found 55 years ago that acting was therapy for a very shy, self-conscious young man, which I was. And it's still, after 55 years, therapy. And I've learned, as I've grown up, that it's not unusual. There are a great many actors who feel that way. You have a mask on, you're not yourself.
348.
Action.
You still love Emily.
She's dead now.
Yes, but you still love her, don't you?
She taught me something when I thought I was past the age for learning.
You haven't answered my question.
I love you more because of her.
There you go with your guilty pangs. Are you still in love with Emily? There. You feel better?
No.
Why not?
Because you just made me hurt you with something that doesn't matter to anyone. You've always been my best girl.
Summer Solstice is the story of an elderly couple looking back over the survival of their marriage. A series of flashbacks trace Maggie and Josh Turner from 1913 to the present scenes on Cape Cod. Summer Solstice was shot here at Boston Beach on Cape Cod. The empty shoreline is transformed each day into a movie set. Early in the morning, a crowd of technicians swarm over the beach, each with his own highly specialized skill. A normal day of filming will stretch from 12 to 14 hours.
I am responsible for sets, props, and locations.
It's just a combination. You have a lot of tools like a carpenter, and you put them all together.
You're trying to create an effect, an illusion, something that may not necessarily be there.
I don't know quite what I do. Everything that the director doesn't do.
Good. That's out?
Yeah. Cameras, microphones, lights, and props are all arranged to bring a story to life. The process of making a film is a mystery to most people outside the movie world. But these two local Cape Codders learned firsthand how it's done. They were hired as stand-ins for Henry Fonda and Myrna Loy. Their job is to literally sit, lie, or stand in for the stars while lights and microphones are set and camera moves are practiced. The idea is to keep the actual actors rested or give them some last-minute rehearsal time while the technical business is arranged. The chief requirement for stand-ins, therefore, is not acting ability, but plenty of patience and the correct
Height and weight.
Yeah. I'm, exactly the same size as Henry Fonda. A little less gray hair, but, the same size.
Same size. Yeah, and I guess I'm about the same height and weight as Myrna Loy. It's been fun. I've really enjoyed it.
Gee, it's a real break for me. I'm a banker. I'm vice president of a bank down here, so it's really, it's really a change for me, and I hit some vacation time, so I've enjoyed it.
You're walking in silently first.
Oh, silent.
And then that mark,
I'll show you.
the wooden mark, you'll start to talk.
While technical rehearsals are in progress, Henry Fonda consults with director Ralph Rosenblum.
Dialogue on the bench will be done in close-up, so I'm not worried about
For most of his career, Rosenblum was an editor. He edited several Woody Allen films, among others, but somehow he wanted something more.
I guess I'm responsible for what the picture looks like, in a sense, or how it's shown on film, which I rather like, which I didn't have in editing. I didn't have that much control, I guess is the word. But most people want control of things. I mean, I've been in films all my life. It happens to coincide with the fact that it's the major art form in America today. I don't know why. Everybody is interested in seeing films, and everybody is really interested in finding out how films are made. I can't explain that. And every young person wants to get into films today. It's the most romantic profession.
It may be a romantic profession, but it's not without frustrations.
Sorry, folks, you can't be there.
This scene was rehearsed a dozen times, only to be foiled by one wrong step.
Didn't you see me wave? Ah.
Okay, cut it, cut it.
Each scene of Summer Solstice is shot over and over again until the director is satisfied with the actor's performance. In addition, the same scene is shot over and over from different camera angles. In this scene, a wide shot is filmed, along with a closer two-shot and individual close-ups of each actor. Pieces from all these are then later cut together to make the scene as we actually see it in the movie.
Didn't you see me wave?
You wave back?
Well, didn't you see the sign?
What sign?
Erosion control.
You mean we're eroding so we can't be here?
Oh, dear, don't tease him. He thinks you mean it.
I do mean it.
You look dazzling in that uniform. Why don't you join us on some wine?
You're not allowed to drink alcohol here either.
You know, a man my age has very few pleasures left.
I'm sorry. You'll have to stop.
I've been saying that for years.
Look, could we discuss this over in the boardwalk? It's bad for the dunes.
Walking on them?
Wears them out.
Wears me out. I doubt it wears them out.
Sir, I don't want to argue with you.
Good.
The geological facts are that every time someone walks on the dunes, their footprints leave a slightly greater depression in the sand. They gouge out these exposed paths, and before you know it, you got what we call a blowout.
Heavens!
How long you been on this seashore?
3 months.
We've walked on this beach for over 50 years. We've seen erosion control plans come and go, and they always fail, and you know why? Because erosion is a natural state of Cape Cod.
Time is the enemy of all filmmakers. Every second counts. A whole day's filming might result in just 5 minutes of usable footage. The person who keeps everyone moving isn't the director, but the assistant director, the guy with the bullhorn, Michael Sweeney.
You set up the shots, you line up the shots, you conduct the set. You keep basically you keep the momentum of the company going, and the buck always just comes down to right here. That's it. You run the company.
The director of photography is Bob King. He supervises lights and camera angles while Henry Fonda and Myrna Loy go over their lines for an upcoming scene.
This is Anne Marie. Have you looked at the script today where it says that the park ranger needs a radio holstered to his belt or a whistle?
Anne Marie Martin is in charge of costumes. It's a job where details make the difference.
I need a radio holstered to the ranger's belt or a whistle around his neck. John, do you have that taken care of?
She's talking to John Holacek, the production designer. He's in charge of everything from scouting locations to creating the set. It looks easier than it is. Take this park bench, for instance.
The park bench is an interesting example of how filmmaking is expediency. I got a call from Stephen Sklow, producer, at 10:30 last night, requesting a park bench for this morning. Okay. And you see a park bench this morning. So it's just a question of having to get something quickly.
Quickly. That's probably the password for filmmaking, but everything seems to take so long. At last, the bench is in place. The lights are up, the stand-ins are rehearsing with the assistant director, and when the shot is set up, the actors slip into place. It's impossible to hear their lines because they speak quietly, in natural tones, but the sound men can hear. The man holding the microphone on a long pole called a boom is in charge of the sound. His assistant runs the controls of the sound recorder and mixer.
We listen differently, usually, than most people do, because we're listening to, airplanes coming over, or trucks driving by, or sand, cables dragging on sand, those kinds of things. But you develop a sensitivity for it. Good sound is sound you don't hear. It's just good, and it's there. And bad sound is sound that you do hear. When you can, it's something that should be there, but that you shouldn't be conscious of. And we try, do the best we can, and try to put something of ourselves into it too.
Keeping unwanted sounds off the soundtrack is also the job of the assistant director. When he says roll,
hold the conversation, absolute quiet please, and roll please.
Everyone freezes, creating a silent tableau. On film, there is only the quiet conversation between Henry Fonda and Myrna Loy.
I don't think you mean it. I think it was worse to you every time. Am I right?
Why do you want to talk about old lovers?
Because we are old lovers, and we've made it. In spite of your growing pains.
And yours. You did all right for yourself.
Yes, thank you, I did.
What amazes me about this production is that what I'm seeing is what I was imagining when I was writing it. And I know writers aren't supposed to have that, they're not supposed to have that good luck.
Good luck was with Bill Phillips for some time. His script was chosen for production out of 600 entries in an open competition of aspiring screenwriters.
But what I'm trying to say is that the people they have chosen, for some reason, are the people I imagined on the page when I was typing it. And there's no reason that any two different minds should necessarily coincide.
We're just like everybody else, with one exception. We've always been willing to let each other grow.
Myrna Loy started her career in 1925 in the film Ben-Hur. She was in the first talkie, The Jazz Singer. In 1937, she was voted Queen of the Movies when Clark Gable was king. And she was renowned for her role as Nora Charles, playing opposite William Powell in the Thin Man series. Makeup artist Bob Philippe, who has worked on some 35 feature films, thinks that age has not dulled the beauty of Myrna Loy.
She's very easy to work with and very easy to do. She still has she's always had a beautiful face, and she's still very beautiful. It's a question of you could very easily make her look too young. So you have to be careful.
Some people say that being careful is what filmmaking is all about. There are so many people involved, so much machinery and equipment, including a half-dozen mobile homes for actors, costumes, lights, props. One man keeps all these diverse elements together. He's the producer, Stephen Sklow.
None of these people knew each other before, I guess, the script brought them together, all right? All right, Henry Fonda knew Myrna Loy, but Ralph Rosenblum didn't know me. I didn't know John Holacek, the production designer. I didn't know Michael Sweeney. I didn't know any of these people, and none of them knew each other. And they've come together, and they've had very little difficulty in integrating themselves to make this thing work. They are there's a word in the film that's become a kind of a joke about exquisite, but they are exquisitely well matched. And I think that it has to do with the fact that they toss their egos aside to make the film work. And that to me is almost as exciting as whatever the finished thing will be.
Camera roll 40, sound roll 28, scene 51, take 6, sound roll 252.
God, she got more dialogue than we do.
Henry Fonda was 75 when this was filmed, a veteran of more than 83 feature films, 23 plays, and 2 television series. His first movie was A Farmer Takes a Wife in 1935. In that film, Fonda was asked to recreate the role of Dan Harrow, which he originated on Broadway the year before. With the help of the film's director, Victor Fleming, Fonda quickly learned the essential difference between stage and screen.
Before we did the first shot, we'd been rehearsing. Victor came to me and says, "Hank, you're mugging a little." That's a dirty word to me. Well, what he meant was I didn't have to do all the things with my face that you do have to do to project in the theater. And I just listened. It took me about, a split second to realize that camera there was doing the projection. You don't have to do anything more than talking to the person that's 2, 3, or 4 feet from you. You're not having to project to the back row or the balcony. It's just, it can be pulled right back to total naturalness.
Henry Fonda was a master of naturalness. But even here, in outtakes from the last scene of his last film, he is still a demanding perfectionist.
She doesn't appear to be all right. Now, can I just,
No. You got to come in. I got to be able to grab here. There's no...
300.
If we're ready, action.
I can help.
No. She's leaving me now. Who pays you for this? We don't know you. We don't need you. That's not right. I left the line out. Do it again.
Okay.
Henry Fonda died of chronic heart disease in Los Angeles, California on August 12, 1982. But for generations to come, he will live on in the guise of 100 different characters. An actor of great talent, simplicity, and grace.
Look, I can help.
Please don't. She's leaving me now. Who pays you for this? You let her leave me in peace. We don't know you. We don't need you. It's been our beach for 50 years. You're so young. You know so little. Are you capable of wisdom at your age? Will you leave us to our goodbyes?
And cut.